So what's going on guys, Kate is here and welcome back to a brand new video. For today I will show you the best Gunlancer PvE build in Lost Ark. So in this guide I will show you what abilities and awakening skill you want to get. Then I will explain what are the best engravings and cards to use for endgame content. And then lastly I will show you the best gameplay and even which stats you need to allocate for PvE, so you would be able to get the best results and highest damage possible and much more. So no matter how low or high level or gear score your character is, you can easily use this build and follow the step-by-step guide. So if this sounds interesting to you, then let's get right into it. So the Gunlancer has great monster clearing speed with strong AoE abilities. This makes his leveling and dungeon farming process easy and enjoyable, even despite his low movement speed. Besides damage, the Gunlancer can also support the team with shields, damage reduction buffs and target armor debuffs. In endgame, he can also interrupt many dangerous boss skills. Then as well, you have to know that the Gunlancer is the only class whose spacebar moves them backwards. This could be a small turnoff for some players, but after a few days of gameplay, you will get used to it. So overall, this build is made around having high survivability, and by using our Lone Knight engraving, we will give ourselves the ability to do massive amounts of AoE damage. So if you're looking for the best leveling, raiding, chaos dungeon or any other PvE content build, then this is the one for you. Okay, so now let's move over to the build itself, and these are the skills you want to have. So then for the first ability we have the bash, and this time we use just 4 levels to unlock the armor destruction, and then lastly for your rune you want to get the bleed. Then for the second ability we have the fire bullet, and we use 10 levels to select the lucky chance, enhanced strike and the attack reaction. And then for your rune you want to get the quick recharge. Then for the next one we have the dash upper fire skill, and we want to use just 4 levels to unlock the ready attack. And then lastly for your rune you want to get the overwhelm. Then for the fourth ability we have the Nalacious energy, and we use 10 levels to select the quick preparation, effectiveness and survive. And then for your rune you want to get the focus. Then for the next one we have the shout of hatred ability, and we use 10 more levels to unlock the quick preparation, shield and open weakness. And then lastly for your rune you want to get the focus. So then for one of the last abilities we have the counter gunlance, and this time we use just 4 levels to select the ready attack. And then for your rune you want to get the purify. Then for the 7th ability we have the surge cannon, and we use 10 levels to unlock the high explosive shot, overcharge and focus fire. And then lastly for your rune you want to get the gale wind. And then for the last and final ability we have the charge stinger, and we use our last 10 skill levels to select the weak point detection, charge enhancement and the last charge. And then for your rune you want to get the gale wind. Then as well after level 50 for your awakening skill you want to get the guardian's protection. But if you haven't reached level 50 yet, then here's a specific guide on which abilities you should upgrade first while leveling with the Gunlancer. And then on top of all this, focus on equipping as high item level gear as you can. And then at the end game you should have 1250 crit and 350 swiftness. But again, if you haven't reached this point yet, then try to have around 20% stats into swiftness and 80% stats into crit. Okay, so then the way I would recommend to upgrade this build is at level 50, you will get around 250 points. So this is how your build should look like. But then by doing more and more endgame content you will get more points. And at the absolute endgame, this is how your build should look like with all the 410 skill points. So at the start you use the 252 point build, and then by leveling up and completing quests you will get more points. So just keep on improving your skills and getting higher tier runes as well. So then let's move over to the engravings, and you want to get the Lone Knight. This engraving will give you extra crit rate and crit damage for your lance skills. Then the second engraving is called the supercharge, which increases the charging speed and damage of your surge cannon, gunlance shot and the charge stinger abilities. Then the next one is called the keen blunt weapon, which will increase your crit rate even more, and this engraving goes hand in hand with the Lone Knight. Then for the fourth engraving you want to get the spirit absorption. This will increase your attack speed and movement speed by a significant amount, especially at max level 3. This will help you to position and cast quicker abilities. Then the next one is called the grudge, and this is more advanced engraving which is recommended for tier 3 content. This grudge is the most efficient engraving against mobs, and you will get your damage increased, but in return you will take 20% more damage. So when you get to the very free endgame content which is called the tier 3, then get this engraving, and before using it, get it to at least level 2, because at level 1 this engraving is not that efficient. And then for the last one we have the cursed doll, and this is a significant attack power increase at the cost of 25% healing penalty. This penalty can be offset by paying more attention on dodging red AoE circles and by using healing potions more often. So then in a quick summary, I would recommend to get the top 3 engravings first and then the bottom 3. And then last but not the least, let's move over to your cards. And you want to get a Shandy, a Zena and a Nana, Nineveh, Vey, Baldur and Tyrwane. In general, these cards are an endgame system for maximizing your character, so you don't have to get them right away, but these specific cards will optimize your damage output in PvE even more. I did bunch of testing for this build and this was the best and most optimized card set. Okay, so then moving over to the gameplay, and if you have played this class while leveling, you will be very familiar with the skills, so I will just try to give you a short description. So then the first ability is called the Shout of Hatred, and the skill is used most of the time to interrupt in-game boss attacks or to fill up your shield meter. Then the next ability is called the Bash, which will do damage, stun the enemy and put a minus 12% debuff on the target, while at the same time giving you a buff for 25% attack power. Then the next 3 abilities called the Surge Cannon, Fire Bullet and the Gunland Shot are just 3 simple damage spells that do AoE damage while at the same time increasing your overall damage for 5 seconds. Then for one of the last abilities we have the Nalassius Energy, and this skill is meant to shield your party members during AoE attacks by the bosses or mobs. And then for the last and final ability we have the Dash Upper Fire, which is your main counter attack skill that will do damage and launch the enemies in the air. And then for your Awakening skill we have the Guardian's Protection, and this is a powerful skill that in 10-meter radius will do damage to all enemies, while at the same time giving you and your party members plus 40% resistance against incoming enemy damage and much more. So I usually use this skill when I or my teammates get in trouble and we need more damage resistance. Okay, so then let's take a closer look at your best skill rotations. So then for the highest damage possible, you first of all want to use the Bash ability, then afterwards activate your defensive stance identity skill, and then from here let's do big damage. So we use the Surge Cannon, Dash Upper Fire, Fire Bullet, and we finish it off with a Charge Stinger. So then let's see what we did in this rotation. By using the Bash skill at the start, we put a debuff to our enemies by minus 12%, and at the same time we increased our damage by giving ourselves plus 25% attack power. Then afterwards we activated our defensive stance skill, which gave us push immunity so our skills couldn't get interrupted. And then from here we just used our main damage abilities. So now in my last and final conclusions for this build, the Gunlancer is the tankiest class in Lost Ark, so use it to your advantage. Then the crit rate is our main combat stat for our Gunlancer build, so try to get it as much as you can. Then don't forget that defensive stance shield is extended if there are other shields on your character active. Then remember that the Bash and Surge Cannon are your main 2 stagger skills. And then lastly, activate your Defiant Stance before using any DPS skills to avoid getting interrupted, and that's about it. So I really do appreciate everyone for watching guys, and I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any suggestions, feedback or other good Lost Ark PvE classes that you would like to see in the next video, then feel free to leave your comments in the comment section down below. If you are interested in the top 3 best PvE builds or instead the top 3 best PvP builds, then check the link in description or just scroll through my channel. And while you're doing that, please click like, subscribe and enable that notification bell, so this way you could support the channel and you won't miss any more amazing content from me. With all this said, you have an amazing day and I'll catch you in my next video, so take it easy, peace.